All right, FightHype.com. Pleasure to be joined with the WBC, WBO unified champion at super middleweight, Franchon Crews-Dezurn. Franchon, man, before we get into fighting, you could really sing. Were you kidding when you said when you're not kicking people's asses, you could do some wedding singing? Is that true?
Listen, all 2021 and beyond, we're securing bags. Yeah, that was my first passion. That's the whole reason I started boxing. So now I'm coming into my own, and I'm like, let's get it.
Between you having that beautiful voice and Claressa with the entrances, homage to Beyonce, what do you guys got to do to get Beyonce to show some love to women's boxing? I mean, you guys.
You know what? That would be amazing. And what we can do is keep showing our excellency every time we sing. She's a big boxing fan, but just know she get a lot of love from us. Even if the queen doesn't acknowledge us, we acknowledge her.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting at. Is it seemed like just a retweet or a little IG post would do a lot for the sport, but to each their own. We can't tell other people what to do, right?
She's out. She's out there saving businesses and supporting so many people going through hard times in COVID. Look, I'm okay. I still have a job. It's okay. But when everything gets back up and running, she has to be at one of our fights.
That's what I'm saying. But, you came back just 3 weeks ago, followed up the great main event that was Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell. You took the ring right after them. How'd you feel coming back, getting a win over Ashley Curry?
It was expected. I was grateful to get rounds. People love knockouts, but this is still my job and my profession. And in order to get better, I have to get more active, feel my wits in the ring. I only have 8 fights now, so I'm still developing my professional style. So just to have an opportunity to fight was the best. Then I got to follow Ryan and his stellar performance, and just to make my return to Texas, where I had such a weird, crazy experience, and to have the fans in attendance was, such an honor.
Yeah. What are the fights you really do want for 2021 after starting off with a victory a couple weeks ago?
Well, I definitely want to get the other unified champion, Belarus. That's my main goal. That's what I want to do. I'm not here to babysit and do all these other things. I'm so close, so why not? Who else? Lady Hammer, she won a belt at super middleweight. That's another fight. And it's a lot of girls under the radar that's moving. So all I can do is stay ready. I don't have to get ready. I just want to fulfill my full potential.
Ellen Cedarus, she came for her first fight in America. She came to Atlantic City. How do you get her to stay out of Europe and get her in the ring to make a unification fight?
Well, I have an A-side promoter, Golden Boys doing their thing and still getting fights in this crazy time. My co-manager, Peter Kahn, is on it like white on rice. So just stay tuned. It's nothing. It's nothing. Anything that's impossible is possible with Big Mama.
Well, but speaking, of Golden Boy being the promoter, Bernard Hopkins, along with Oscar De La Hoya being your promoter, Bernard, he said, he really loves watching you fight, and he sees you becoming like himself, a smart fighter. What do you think of Bernard's comments?
It's always, I'm always flabbergasted to think such a accomplished and iconic and legendary boxer like Bernard, would say things like that about me. And even for Oscar to even know who I am and give me the opportunity, it's crazy. I'm like Cinderella, but it's a big shoe to fill, but it's not within my grasp. I am a smart fighter. I'm a great fighter. And the more I get in the ring, the more I have an opportunity to show that to people. People were saying my last performance earlier this month was good. I'm like, that's like a C game. I've never had my A game since I've been a pro. So when I bring that out, those who know, they know. When I bring that out, I think I'm going to shock a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, Bernard was as animated during that fight with Jimenez for any like non-Canelo fight I've ever seen him. So it
I
was
mean, do the math. People can say if they want to say I'm sloppy, I'm wild, I just brawl. That was the first fight I've ever gotten hurt, like in the gym or in a fight, and to navigate that, and then I had to pull my skill out in those last rounds to show like I had a damn bulldozer in front of me, but I was sharper, you know. So I'm just gonna keep doing me. People can like it, they can hate it, but they still want to watch.
what was it like coming back from like just such an emotional fight with Alejandra Jimenez?
Well, I don't want to spend too much time talking about her, but for me, it was a great journey. It just showed me who I really am. I had a great support system with my gym, with my husband, with the people I have in my circle, and my confidence is out the roof. My confidence is out the roof. If you can't kill me, you're gonna have a long night. So
Just to close on Jimenez, I respect what you said, champ. You don't want to stay on that too long, but did you know, to put it all in one, did you know you were facing someone on performance enhancers that night? And if you could somehow be assured that that wouldn't be the case in a rematch, do you want to fight her again?
for what? For what? For what? I it's not a point of being scared because I actually felt I won that first fight even with the enhancement. If that's what you do with enhancements, you don't want to fuck with me without them. And people who know they know when you get me mad or you tell me no or deny me, it wakes the sleeping giant. Um, it was pretty obvious, but I'm not the one to sit and call names or accuse people without proof. But I had a feeling that something was different, something wasn't right way before we even stepped in the ring. I'm just happy that Vada and Golden Boy supported me and you know keeping our sport clean. Excuse me.
Because yeah, this is the worst sport you could do that stuff with. You know,
Yeah.
hitting
Yeah.
another human being and not a baseball or yeah. But you know, you remain the WBC champion of the world. Floyd Mayweather. It's a recent decision that Floyd's going to be added to each and every title. What do you think about that as a champ? You know, he's going to be added to your belt.
Listen, I'm waiting for mine to pop up in the mail so I could say yes. I got the TBE in my crib. We getting it in. We chilling, hanging. No, I think that's such a huge accomplishment, and you know, Floyd inspires so many fighters of this new generation, and I think it will push them to be great. Even so, not just be flashy and get money, but be great so you can be immortalized in boxing history in that way.
Well, because you know Floyd, like you know, he's a polarizing guy, but they picked the right fighter, didn't they? I mean, he may have a record for the most WBC belts won. So,
Well, Floyd has impact. It's not just, you know, yeah, he has a perfect record, but he like single-handedly shifted the whole culture of boxing. And that was some of the traits like a Muhammad Ali had and you know, Roberto Duran. Like these are iconic fighters, and I think he's up there with guys as far as impact, ability, and everything as a whole.
you know, being a fighter from Norfolk, Virginia, where Pernell Whitaker's from, how much do you revere Pernell and then now Floyd? Because you know he's like the modern day Pernell. You know, how much do you look up to both those guys?
Well, my dad knew Pernell back in the day because my dad was a multi-sport athlete as well, and he knew Pernell. And I never thought like I would even be in the same sentence as him. Um, he was just so charismatic, and he really didn't care, and he was skilled, but it was unconventional, and that kind of gives me more confidence just to be myself because everybody's not going to be super technical, though they can be, but he just was himself, and it was like poetry in motion. And just to know like I was born in a place where a fighter like that was developed is pretty cool.
You know, I gotta ask about Claressa Shields. Have you ever thought to yourself, like, dang, that fight happened way too early? We were both making our pro debuts. If you guys were to fight now, it'd be, you know, main event, all the belts. Do you ever feel like that? That fight happened too soon, you know?
No, I don't feel like it happened when it was supposed to happen. Everything in my life happens the way it's supposed to happen, and I felt and I feel that had to happen that way to motivate women's boxing to continue to make these big fights because nobody else was stepping up. Not only did it shake the room for the females, it shook the room for the guys, you know? They can't say anything about women's boxing when we taking fights like that. And she has ability, I have ability. And I think when you have two females who believe in themselves and their ability, they have the right to put it on display. And now with this fight, since we took the pro debut, if and when we rematch, it's going to be worth even more because we gave people a sample.
What do you think of, I would have to really do some research, but that you guys may be the only fighters in history who fought each other on your pro debut and both went on to become champion. What do you think of that, if that's the case?
I mean, we're used to making history, We're very accomplished boxers, and we just living our dream and doing what we do best, and the world is just getting a front seat to it. And I honestly wouldn't have wanted any other way with any other fighter to make history like that.
How do you think she'll fare in MMA?
Listen, people get it twisted. I for real have like a couple MMA fights under my belt. No shot to MMA because I know they train and do different disciplines, but I was kicking people in their throat, slamming on the ground and all that before I even picked up a pair of gloves. And I believe she has heart.
Unsanctioned MMA fights, Franchon, or
Listen, you better ask about me on the streets. My old name used to be Country because I had to fight when I moved to Baltimore. But yeah, I know that she has a heart of a fighter. She has hands. Now she has like the best coaching staff around her. And it's all positive energy. I just want her to be safe. And I believe her mindset, she'll be able to do something,
Yeah, not to put the 2 cents into it too much, but it just seems like she's young. And with someone like that, when they put their mind to something, I don't know if you should bet against them,
Of course. I mean, shit. She's done everything else she says she wants to do. So, and then, with our boxing sisterhood, you have the Heather Hardys, the Amanda Serranos as mentors and can kind of walk her through the mindset she'll experience, walking to the cage. And, hey, I support you.
When she comes back to the ring, though, is that probably, you think that's the best fight she could make, is run it back with you for the WBC, WBO titles?
Oh, wow. Well, not now. I mean, if the paycheck's right, we'll have a conversation and shoot. But I don't think now. Like, we're both really just cementing our legacy. And for me, what I want to do, because it's the Big Mama show over here, I have a couple of goals I want to accomplish. And I believe that fight's always there because, we made such a sacrifice for the first fight. So maybe next year, who knows?
Marciela Corneo made her name, a good name in boxing. How are you going to look back on those two they were great fights, those 2 fights you've had with her?
Yeah, well, I won 19 rounds straight out of 20 rounds.
Right.
And she shows, I think it made her better. She should feel confident taking big fights. It doesn't kill you, make you stronger, but you're going to take an ass whooping. And I feel like, having an opportunity to compete for a world title against another world title contender at such an early point in my career was, it was bold, but I believed in myself. So, I hope people enjoyed it. She's a sight to look at, and, well wishes to her.
And also, before I let you go, Franchon, just how to get your thoughts on a fight that seems like it's building up a little bit, Michaela Mayer versus Katie Taylor. Do you got any thoughts on that fight and who you think would take that one if we ever see it?
I thought the fight was Michaela Mayer and Terry Harper. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I can't help but think 4 steps ahead, but you're right. That is, first things first.
Because they are polar opposites. Poor Terry, she's so quiet as a mouse, and Michaela is Miss Mickey May when she turns up. But I think those are the fights that we need to see. Katie Taylor is, I keep using the word icon, but she is. Like, she's been boxing since I stepped on the scene back in '05 and doing it at an elite level. And I think it'll be a real great test for Michaela because, Michaela's a world champion now. She's confident. She has everything in running for her. So for them to meet, I think it'll raise the profile of women's boxing as well. I can't wait. I hope so.
And you started off the interview talking about continuing to improve in 2021. What do you want to see out of yourself the most in these next maybe 2 fights, 3 fights you can get during the year?
I want to get back to me. I've been through so much, and that's not to take away from anybody else who's been through it, but I've been through it, not having a whole lot of support, not having the most resources, but I know what I can be. I know I can get my abs. I know I can do all these great things. And when you're talented and you don't work as hard as you should, you're not only shortchanging yourself, you're shortchanging the people. And that's what I am, very talented. And I'm just going to make it about me versus me. And people will see the fruits of that labor very soon. So just stay tuned.
When you said you've had to go through a lot of things, could you please, just share some of those things that you're touching on?
The first thing I took one of the probably his hardest fights that was out there for my pro debut. I came in the scene self-managed. I self-managed my way to a world title. I traveled 2 hours to and from to the gym. I have my husband. We train the base, and I've been through a lot, not having fun and all of these things, but it made me. So now it's about me and put myself first and really just giving myself the chance to live to my full potential. But people will see. I'm going to prove it to myself, and that's what matters. Right,
because people almost never manage themselves, and if they do, at that point, they almost never get themselves to a title fight, right? So
look at my promoter, B-Hop. Why do you think not only my skill, why do you think he respect my gangster? Because he knows it's not easy. It's not easy. It's actually scary in this business. And for fighters who don't feel they should educate themselves, it'll be the people closest to you that'll cut your throat. So, you should always try to attract the energy that you put out. But I feel so proud of myself where I am, and I'm looking forward to where I'm going.
Well, I love that you said that, because that's so true. Bernard, I think he vibes with you outside of the ring, not just in the ring, what you stand for. So, yeah, I noticed that too. But
mentor and a great.
And Franchon, before I let you go, any thoughts on your career, anything in boxing in general, anything you want to get out to the people before we let you go, champ?
Well, I'm happy. My husband, Dezurn Jr., he's also a pro fighter, 12-2-1. He made it to the 3rd round of his commercial audition with the Cats. So just stay tuned. Team Dezurn, we're working in and out the ring. And I just appreciate all the support from the fans and the media. And let's get it, 2021.
Wait, what do you mean about the Cats? Are you talking about the Broadway play? Or what is it?
No. So if people follow us on social media, my husband, he's a great fighter. He's a beast in the ring, but he's an avid cat lover now, thanks to me. So him and those cats are a sight to see. And the opportunity came for him to audition for a commercial on a whim, and he's like in the 3rd round. So
congrats to your husband. So you guys you got a dub, you got a victory, and he got a commercial. So
he fought in December, and he got a 2nd round TKO. So that's one thing I want to do, is have us both fight on the same card, and let's keep making history.
Maybe the first husband and wife to share a card on the same night.
Period.
Thank you so much, Franchon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.